Hey everyone, finally back. Harry from Hazspur TV back with Eugene. How you doing, Eugene? How's things?
Hey,
How's life?
yeah, good afternoon. How have you been? I haven't been back on the channel for some time due to work, but I don't know whether it's luckily, but I got free time now. So that's why.
Well, with
Yeah.
me, it's just I've just been busy with just life really because my brother's getting married at the end of this month, so things are quite busy for me right now. Which is why I didn't stream last week because it was his stag do thing. So that's why I had to cancel the
Okay.
stream.
Tell me the story of the stag do. Anything? What kind of stag do's do you guys do nowadays? At your age?
It wasn't even that like crazy. We just went out to eat, went to a few bars, and that was it. Really, I don't even drink, so I didn't. I had a Coke, and that was about it. so
You're a cheap date, bro.
I'm a what?
A cheap date kind of scenario.
Cheap date, yeah. That's why I only do coffee dates, man. If some girl wants to go in my DMs, I only do coffee dates. If you're watching this,
right, ladies, you hear that, right? If you want to have, he has
spend some time with me.
Spend some time with him, right? Talk about Spurs, right? Talk about Enoch, Lee, and Levy, right? No, Harry, how long have we been doing this?
It's 3 years. I think it's 3 years almost.
3 years. Every transfer window, what do we do?
We talk the same nonsense.
No, we moan and bitch.
Yeah. Well, I think we just start the stream just talking briefly about Jota because, as you guys know, just passed away the other day, and I just want to send my condolences to his friends and family, and to Liverpool Football Club, and to Wolves Football Club, and obviously Slot and Klopp. I read their comments. Obviously, it's affected a lot of people, right? So, hopefully,
like I said, right? RIP to the brothers, right? Jota and Andrea, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Andrea? Diogo and Andrea, both Jotas.
Diogo and his brother as well, of course.
So
yeah.
But, of course, condolences to all the people that were close to him and knew him. And part of his life. Hope you guys are holding out there. I know death is painful and a sad thing. So I've been through it.
He was only 28. I think that's a sad thing.
Yeah. Don't talk about age and death, right? When time is yours, when you're fated to go. Yeah, just
Well, did I ever tell you this? I mean, I might as well tell people now at this point. But I almost died in a car crash, but it wasn't exactly a crash. Does that make sense? So
you mean you were in the car and somebody crashed into you?
No. So basically, I mean, I might as well tell people it's not like something that.
All right. You're gonna get that Harry story now. Come on, let it out.
So we were on this topic. So basically, I live in Southgate, and there's this road near me, which is a narrow road, and you go down 20 miles per hour down this road. Now, one night in 2021, we're talking like November, September, in the winter, right? September, November. I was literally driving down that road at 20 miles per hour. There's even like people who know I was going 20. Basically, it was just me in the car, right? And
okay, you in the car, of course. Just you in the car.
Just me in the car. No, just me in the car. I was going 20 miles per hour. I'm not joking. Going 20 miles per hour, and then I must have hit something on the side and not seen it because there was a black car on the side, and it was so dark because it's winter, right? And my car flipped, not like completely, but it flipped to the side like that. Like literally like that.
Oh, you did the stunt car movement thing. The flip to the side.
Just to the side, not like completely, but and I climbed out the car. Like it could have gone wrong.
Was it left side or right side?
Right side.
Oh, that means
the driver's side. I landed on the driver's side like that.
Yeah, you're lucky, bro. Driver's side.
But I was going 20 miles per hour, and it still happened. So, like,
bro, it was saying right. It was cold, wet, icy.
I think it's the angle at which I hit that. So maybe I think the theory is because there's no cameras down that road, which is part of the problem because they can't see what happened, right? Because the police came, or whatever, and I was fine. I just suffered shock.
Did you hit anything else?
No. So I hit one car, but what I'm saying is the car that I hit, you wouldn't. I don't think, and many people would have seen it because it was so just a black car in the night, basically. So I could have hit like the wheel because one of the wheels apparently was slightly out from the car. You know when people park and
they don't park it properly. Their butt is stuck out, right? Yeah,
so I'm not blaming them. Like I'm not saying that's their fault, but I think I hit that, and then because with cars, there's the momentum and stuff like that.
Hey,
and
Mr.
I think
K, big up. Mr. K is in chats, right? Yeah, Mr. K, we're being Spurs fans and we're so bored, right? We're not even talking about Spurs, right? Because we're saying our RIPs to Jota, and now Harry's telling some part of his life story.
So it could have easily gone wrong, and now I easily could have gone wrong. But thankfully, touch wood. Yeah.
You wouldn't want to know my story of flipping over, and this is real life.
You flipped over as well.
Yeah. Have you heard this story of mine?
No,
when I was working in 1999, I was working in Gabon in the logging industry. So I was based in this jungle camp inside, when you do logging from the station. And that day I had a long trip. I went, at the time I had a translator and an armed bodyguard, guy that holds the shot. Right. We went and did something in one of the close townships. Then we came back. Whilst I was driving into the camp, they graded the road. When you grade the road.
When they put the black stuff. You mean black stuff? Yeah. The brown stuff. Sorry, do you mean the brown stuff with the snow?
No.
Do you mean the stuff with the snow or? Oh, what happened? What? Yeah, I don't know where Eugene's gone. What the hell? Sorry, guys, I don't know where he's gone. Okay, give me a second, guys. I'm going to just see where Eugene is because I don't know what's just happened. Oh, sorry, I was messaging. So I was like, what just happened?
I pressed the wrong. Oh shit! I kicked myself out.
Wrong button. Yeah. That's fine.
So I was saying, right? No, when you're in the logging industry, when you grade the road, is that because a lot of trucks go up and down, so it becomes very flat, and then it becomes slippery. So usually, what they do is that they will put some kind of gravel on it, right, before they put another layer of soil. So that night, the camp didn't inform me. So when I was coming down a curve on a hill, coming downwards, right, we're going a bit fast, to tell the truth, about 60, but usually you don't do 60 in the jungle, I'm saying, unless you're a rally driver. Not 60 miles per hour, 60 kilometers, or maybe it was 60 miles. I think 60 kilometers, not 60 miles. 60 miles an hour, I think I'll be dead by now. Or maybe it was 40 or so too. So when I was coming down, the car started to slide. Sorry, it's not a car, it was four-wheel. The Hilux started to slide. My translator sitting next to me pulled the steering, right, and it flipped. I think it flipped 4 or 5 rounds down the hill. This is real flip. Yeah.
You're in the
car.
But
not from head to the end, but side to side. I was in the car.
Like that side, that side. Okay. Yeah.
This side. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So by the time he landed, right, the translator was highly injured. I was okay. So it was closing the evening. So the thing is, I told the bodyguard our bodyguard, we call bodyguard, right? Security guard, not bodyguard, security guard to stay back with him because I wouldn't want him bleeding all over the place and be eaten by a panther or some shit like that, right?
Like with me, I still went to A&E, but I was just in shock. It wasn't like I didn't have any concussion. I didn't have any nothing.
For me, is that I was somewhere in Africa in the jungle. There was no hospital around. I just got up and I ran.
You were like in the middle of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah. I had to run back 2 kilometers.
I went to North Middlesex because North Middlesex, near the Spurs ground, is where basically my dad knew one of the doctors there. It's a friend, and it's a long story. And he called him and he said, "Can can you speed up the checking on my son, basically, right? So I kind of skipped a few of the queues, I guess, to get. And I still had to wait in A&E, but a bit less than like 5-6 hours. It was more like 2 hours, I say. Because he got some doctors to see me quickly because it was going to be quick anyway. Like, you just need to check my bruises. I had like a bruise here because obviously I landed like that the car. But no, I could have gone very wrong. But I think it was the fact I was going 20 that saved me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, speed, yeah. That's what it is. When you're actually driving fast. Right. But let's get off the topic. You gotta get off the topic, right? We're just definitely on. All right, guys, let's talk about Spurs. What's happening in Spurs today, right? Nothing.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, kudos. Yeah, we were linked to. We had interest in kudos last season. This season we're so close to it. We put a 50 million bid. It wasn't accepted. 50 million plus add-ons, blah blah blah, something like that, right? Yeah. Okay. Mr. K said crash a fully late van during 70 mph near and blew the smash into the central link on M4 motorway. That was total lucky to get out. Yeah. Oh no. After even that crash that I had, right? I ran back the 2 kilometers right to the camp. My God. And after that, I checked. I wasn't even bruised. Was I bruised? I can't remember. Yeah, that was 20 years ago, guys. But right, and the time was 1999. Yeah, what was Spurs doing in 1999? That's
we won the Worthington Cup. We went to the game, the final against Leicester in 1999.
1999
Alan Nilsson's header.
Okay. 1999.
I was 7 years old. I still remember it. Yeah, look, Guy won a cup.
Yeah, Guy, big up, Guy. Hope you're doing well.
1999 was a good year, actually. It was a good year. A good year for music, a good year for media. Like, it was before everything went woke.
Media has never been good, to tell the truth. Good year for them, but they've never been good. So.
I mean, as in nowadays, media is just.
Oh, in 1999, we didn't have this. Think about it, right?
Yeah, but I meant as in like movies, music, that sort of media. Nowadays, that media is kind of dead to me.
No, in 1999, we're all better human beings. That's all.
We were better human beings back then because people were more like, It was before the internet kind of blew off, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the internet nowadays, right, allows people to, let out vent their frustrations online. Then try to came out that never came.
I mean, look at now. I think technology. I know this is not for Spurs stream, but I think technology is sort of being weaponized now. Like initially, we were all excited. We got all these new things, and now people are just using it for like. Obviously, we use it just to do streams and talk about football and whatever. But like, some people just use this stuff to spread hate or to do this or to moan. TikTok's basically just people moaning. That's why I don't watch TikTok, because people are just moaning about stuff. And it's just, media's just gone to crap, really. And then I don't watch the news because the news is just all negative. Like, it's never everything positive.
Yeah. Of course, right? Because we live in a negative world at the moment. But yeah, let's go back to football, right? Why are we going?
Anyway, so back to kudos.
My political
we're going to get cancelled now. Anyway, we're going to get cancelled now. So
kudos. I don't know.
So what do you think about him as a player? Like, would you take him? Are you excited by the link?
Right? Yeah. The season before, he impressed me. This season, right, he was like invisible. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe that season that then when they had what's his name, Moyes, right? And I think they won the Conference League with them or something like that. Was it that season?
Yeah. Conference League.
Yeah. So that's one thing. So at this moment in time, I don't know, kudos. He shows that he's got capabilities. But last season he didn't show that capability. This season, if he does come on, guys, we're Spurs, we're linked to them. We put in bids, right? And then we negotiate, then we fall off the track, right? It's the same thing with Eze. We were chasing Eze last season until this season, right? And then all of a sudden, right, think who is in the front running position to get Eze? Arsenal. My God, how could they let that happen? You see, so I don't know what to say. And of course, a lot of people are saying, would Eze take Spurs over Arsenal? Yeah, maybe, right? Or maybe not, if we really try. But, kudos. If he comes in, I'll be happy if he comes in, right? We've been waiting for how many days now, right? There was the first section in June where we did nothing, which I think 2 weeks there wasted. Now we are already going into the 4th or 5th day, right? So 19 days, 20 days where we've done nothing. So what do you expect? And don't forget, now I hear other clubs are going for him too.
So Newcastle made a bid. So Newcastle made a £45 million bid for Elanga. It got turned down. So they're obviously looking for a wide player. So I guess Kudus is one they're looking at now as well. Because maybe Forest want like 70 million, 60 million for Elanga. I don't know. My dad really rates Elanga. He really likes him. But we're not going to get Elanga.
Why don't we go for Elanga there, right? If you can't go for Kudus, go for Elanga.
If it was me, I'd go for Elanga.
If you give Marinakis 50, maybe he'll take it.
No, I think they want like 60 for him. Must be 60, 70. Because he was one of their best players last season, Elanga.
Oh, to tell the truth, right? We're Spurs, right? We are fucked, right? Because the EPL tax is too high, right? And like I was saying on Sabah's show earlier, right? Our shopping bracket is in the championship or teams getting relegated. That's why a lot of people say we're going to get our most considered impressive signing, right? Will be Tyler Dibbling.
I don't, Eugene. I do not want Tyler Dibbling. I'm sorry, I don't want him.
Okay, Carl Walker-Peters is surely coming back, right? Because we got championship.
Oh no, he is, because they need to fill the club trained player thing, don't they?
They need to fill the requirement of the academy trained players coming in. Right, like that's why last season
go. Yeah,
that's why last season you had Whiteman in the Europa League team. Yeah.
They had to fit the criteria. I've nothing against Carl Walker-Peters, but like if we're gonna bring him in, we also need to go out and bring like 2 or 3 first team players at least.
Don't say you. I mean, Carl Walker-Peters, right? To tell the truth, right? That is a conundrum that we can't actually fix unless we bring back Marcus Edward. You get what I'm saying? Because he's
no. I mean, as in, I don't. I'm talking about. I'm not against that. I'm just saying.
But this is a necessity. This is a necessity signing, right?
It's different.
But no choice, bro. Right? If not, then we'll be putting out next season in our Europa Champions League lineup, right? You will have players like, of course, Mikey Moore will be there. That'll be fantastic for him, right? Who else? You have Donnelly, And to tell the truth, we still have got Scarlett and who else? Some of these youngsters.
Jai's gone out on loan.
Yeah, right. So it is going to be what it is. But the problem now is that, of course, signing another defender, Takai, right? I think he should be in London now doing his medical, unless he's failed his medical, right? Then we won't get him. Dane Scarlett, yeah. Dane Scarlett. Let's see. Hey, big up E.
How am I? Oh, I just joined. How the fuck am I here already?
You're right.
We're just talking about the wonders of the internet.
Well,
you missed
we're
it,
talking about 1999. What were you doing in 1999? Were you born yet?
I was part of my dad.
Just being conceived, you mean?
Nah, I still had to wait 2 years before I got conceived, man.
I was 7 in 1999.
Eesh.
Yeah, I was 7 years old then, man. Yeah.
How you doing though? You're good?
Yeah.
Good.
That's good.
I was following your show
missed
earlier.
All the deep talk about like our accidents and stuff. So
car crashes and all that, right? Yeah.
Rolling
down hill, sliding on the Southgate. What's that road called? You were sliding on the side.
It was Nursery Road. Okay. Basically, I almost died. He almost died. That's what we're talking about. So he came on.
That's why I've been through near-death experiences, so now I know what is it to be humble, guys.
Yeah, I don't really have no crazy accidents. I don't think so.
No, you're still young. You might get a chance one of these things. Yeah.
Soon enough, man. Give it a few years, maybe.
That's a good question, actually. Yeah. Has winning the Europa League Cup had any effect on you guys yet? Okay. Elijah, since you just come on, anything?
Not really. I mean, I'm happy. but not really an effect. I mean, I still have to do the same thing I was doing before I was winning the Europa. So, yeah, I'm chilling.
Winning the Europa League had any effect?
Mate, Elijah, you're always chilling, man.
Well, hey, Mr. King, I'm going to tell you, right? That effect is still in me now. It's just because I'm doing show in the calm stream and all that, right? You put me on other people's channels. That day I went on KG's channel. I had a big fight with all the other guys. I said, I want a cup. You guys shut the fuck up.
Fair enough. I hear it.
To be fair, it has had an effect on me because when I see Arsenal fans or whatever, I'm just like, second again. That's it. Like last night, I was playing some Arsenal fans and 5-a-side. I just wound them up the whole game. I was just like, "When's your last trophy?" Like I was just ripping him as much as I could. So yeah, I'm enjoying it for now until we like crash and burn next season. Probably.
Harry and E, we have the right to enjoy this, right, for one season.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we have earned and waited for this for 17 years. So fuck all of it. Those who don't want to enjoy it, it's their problem. Right, I'm enjoying it all the time, right? Like you said, I see Manchester United fans, I look at them, I say this. Yeah, look at this. I smile at them.
Yeah. But I think this team mean, because obviously, because someone mentioned transfers in the chat, like it hasn't really had any effect on our transfers. We're still just signing kids. I mean, you saw that Japanese guy and Tell.
Yeah.
That's it.
Come on. I'm sure you watched the Sava show, or what did I say, right? It's still the same thing. It's not changed, right? How many times have we in this transfer window happening over and over again? It's deja vu, right? And then we're going to wait until the last, 3 days or last day of the transfer window, then Levy will go out there and sign someone. And then by the time that all the Spurs fans, right, been jerking off so much, right, they lost their cum. There's no more cum to come out. And then whoever comes, right, they will come. Okay?
Fair enough. No, not the analogy I would use, but I hear what you're saying, no, man.
Well, I mean, you guys understand what I'm saying, right? You're all dried up, right? And then you're going, then you come, whoa! You get excited again.
Guy was like, what the fuck? You know what Levy does to us? Like, I look at this Kudus thing, right? Like, and some players in the past, Elijah, maybe you don't know about this, but we would sign players on the last day, right? For example, even someone like Lloris, we signed him on the last day. He pushes us to the brink, so we get to the point where it gets to the last day and everyone just goes ballistic. We actually sign someone, like not because we should have got him in a month earlier. Like they just go ballistic. They're just like Eugene was saying, they just lay it all out.
I give you an example. I give you an example. One of January transfer windows, right? Of course, we got the 30 days or so, right? I think that year was when we just started doing YouTube. Remember Brian Daigle on the 16th of January? He protested until the 31st of January, right? And on the 31st of January, right, Levy brings in Bentancur and
Kulusevski,
Kulusevski. It's like he purposely does this.
I look up.
I'm not going to sign anyone, right? I'm going to make you stand there for 15 days, right? In the frigging cold in January. Oh dear.
Like for example, Sissoko, I remember you lot weren't on X or Twitter or that meant back then, but I would lost my shit when we signed Sissoko. I wasn't happy. But because Levy pushed us to the brink, right, when people were so desperate to see someone, the day we were linked with him that morning, everyone was like, yeah, go on, let's get Sissoko. And they do this cope thing where they try and make out he's a good player. And mate, when I signed him, my dad was like, why?
Guys, you know what we should do? We should actually sit here, right? And play this game, right? We're going to play this game called Fast Forward. Now, in this stream today, right, it's the 31st of August, and we have not signed no one. And the deadline is 11 hours more before it closes. Which players do you want? I would ask you.
Tyler Dibbling is who we're going to get.
I don't want him, man.
40 mil for Dibbling.
No, but why
are we going to play him?
He's going to be our next Archie Gray, right?
Yeah.
Basically,
Gray, Dibbling, Bergvall, midfield, I guess.
Nah, Dibbling will probably play right wing or something. But probably, yeah.
Who's on our right wing?
Just him and Brennan.
You mean Brennan?
That's it, man.
Back post Brennan.
Hey, Dibbling will be our signing, man. Everyone, what I'm saying, on their knees for Kudus. It's not. Yeah, it's gonna be Dibbling.
You don't think we're gonna get Kudus then?
I mean, maybe. I don't think so. No, I doubt it. I think it's gonna be Dibbling we get. But I mean, even
So
so, like I'm not. Kudos is
Probably.
too
All right,
much money
okay.
to pay for him.
In the history of Spurs, right, guys, in the chats too, right? You can let me know, right? Has Spurs ever, right, gone for a player, then the player was actually being courted by another team, right? And then we got back in and got that player.
I think they're talking about Dragosine
Yeah,
to Bayern or something like that.
Guy, I'm the same vibe, man. I don't get that vibe off Dibbling that he's like that good.
Oh, is it
Like,
not Archie Gray?
if we're gonna sign a right winger, a young right winger, we should go get Garetsas at the Greek right winger. He's 17. He's way ahead of his age. Yeah, don't spend this English tax and get flipping Dibbling. It's in the chat. It's in the
Premier
chat.
League tax as well. There's a Prem tax and an English tax.
Go get
Which
the
is why
Greek
Dibbling will
right
cost
winger. I'm not
50.
saying it just because I'm Greek, yeah, but like go get him. He's way better than Dibbling, like, in my opinion. Way better. He's like leagues ahead of Dibbling.
But that's what I want them to do. I want them
tax.
to go down. I want them to go down that route with the scouting route. I don't want them to spend 65 on Kudos. It's not worth it.
We can get the Greek guy for like maybe 50 million, something like that.
Might even pay less because of the Euros as well.
Because
he plays you wouldn't mind we buy all young players, right? Would you mind? Would you want to see us really?
It depends on the young player because I just don't want to pay. I don't want to overpay for players.
Premium,
that's my problem.
Because
we don't spend. We don't.
Yes, right.
Like, we don't. Yeah, we either don't spend or we overspend on players that aren't good enough, innit? So I don't really care about the age so much. But like for example, the Takai signing I was fine with. I didn't mind the Kinski signing at the time. Didn't mind the Bergwijn signing. But the signings I do have a problem with is Archie Gray and Tell, because you're overpaying for players. Like,
the same as me, man.
They're not worth. You know what I'm saying? They're not worth what they're paying. Like Kudos isn't worth 60 mil, 65 mil. He's not worth that. I'm saying Tell was not worth 45 mil.
If you're talking players whether they're worth it or not, right? Solanke isn't worth 65, right? Is Odebear is he worth 30? Right?
No.
Right now, no. But I think he will be worth 30. Because
even 30 nowadays is an average winger, though, isn't he?
Okay, he'll be worth 30, but that's just overpaying for players.
You got that inflation into all these.
Is he actually going for 55 million?
That's what they value him at, yeah.
We should go get Elanga then. Why are we sitting there bidding for Kudos?
Nah, Elanga's.
Well, don't worry, Has. Once we can't get our hands on Kudos, right, Elanga will come in. You know, you have to prolong that narrative, right? So where everybody's chasing something. So we've been chasing one player to another player. Yeah. Chasing, right? It's like at least we're not chasing the dragon. That's interesting. Yeah.
Dragon.
Yeah. I mean, you guys will understand that what I said just now, right?
First.
Anybody in the chat knows what chasing the dragon is? No,
I thought we were gonna say unicorn.
They might know old in the comment.
And then a unicorn. You won't find them.
No, I'm saying no, but there's a meaning towards the phrase chasing a dragon. Ask Mr. K. Mr. K, what's the meaning of chasing the dragon? Hey, big up, Mr. K. You cut your hair, big up.
Hello.
Hi. Chasing the dragon. It's like, well, basically chasing the dragon's tail. It's an old school term that they used to use for people that used to be on heroin.
Yeah.
Right. You know, chasing the pipe. Chasing the pipe, things like that. It's basically you're going round. It's the old European one where you've got you're going like a snake eating its own tail. It's basically you're just going round and round and round. It's not to be confused with stepping on the dragon's foot. That's something else.
Yeah, who the hell wants to step on the dragon's foot?
Okay.
Mr. K, do you remember I met you at the protest in 2021? Do you remember at all or not? With Holly and Stella?
Yeah, that was a very long time ago, but I do remember. I absolutely remember.
I remember you. Yeah.
We were wearing those Levy clown masks at the time.
Yeah.
Did you remember we were wearing those Levy clown masks? I think Stylus managed to get into a newspaper that day as well. I can't remember if it's the Guardian or something.
Yeah. That was when they had the guy playing the guitar outside the flipping stadium. That was that. Mate, it was a bit of a piss up that day as well. Like, there was people drinking outside, I remember. But it was the first protest I've ever went to, though. It was the first one I ever went.
Yeah. I think I was there.
I think that was our first proper. That was our first proper protest that we did. That was the first time it was done properly. So I think many of the people that turned up that time, they were all really hardcore levy out people. They didn't want change. They just want next man gone.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get my camera system right. There you go.
I still want Levy gone, to be honest. So.
Put it on something.
Yeah, so.
Let me see if I can get that working.
Yeah. So you were saying what? Your mom and your sister was visiting? You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, my bad. They were in St. Lucia for 2.5 weeks and they flew back today.
They came back from St. Lucia.
Yeah, they came back. Yeah.
More people in the house.
Yeah, now my door's finally closed now. I used to leave my door open when they weren't here to let the air come through, but now I'm boiling in my room. But I have to keep the door closed.
I don't mind the heat.
You need plenty of fans. Plenty of fans everywhere in the house. That's what you need.
I've got one right here, literally right below me. It's just up, just blowing air because I need it, man.
I'm okay with the heat.
That's the place to have it. That's the place to have it. Something that Levy doesn't have.
A fan. Nah, fairs.
Mr. K, what are your thoughts on Kudos? Yeah.
Kudos. To tell you the truth, what happens is that the transfer window talks about a whole bunch of players. You all get excited about one of them at least. And then you end up with none. And then you get players by the name of Kudos, who last season, I had to Google, right? So what do I think? I don't want to think of anything. Kudos is probably a very good lad. Do we have like 1 million people in the midfield? What we're looking for is a decent number 6. Is Kudos a number 6? The answer is no. He's more of an 8. So what do you do?
Winner.
At the end of the day, the people that can score goals generally will get more attention. But what can you do? I mean, how many people can you put in the midfield? You can have about 2, maximum 3. So you got Kulusevski, one of them. You got Madison, another one. So that's left and right covered. So then you got the central 3: Bissouma, Bentancur, and one more, Tatasar. So what are you going to do with those 3? You need to get rid of one of them. Which one are you going to get rid of? Bentancur, the resale value. There's plenty of clubs in Europe that would want him.
Bissouma, I guess.
Bissouma, if he's lucky, might get some attention from Saudi Arabia. Right. So I don't see that. I don't. If we were going to sell Sonny, we would have sold him by now. So
Spain,
apparently is selling, staying. Ramirez has been going for the last 2 years. We see what happens there. I don't know. To me, the whole transfer saga, right? Yeah, it's a complete bunch of joke. Paratici is back as a consultant, so I've got some faith in Paratici. But the rest of them, no, I ain't got no faith in the rest of them at all. Because if you want to transfer somebody, you need to get them in at the first part of the transfer window, and then you can bet them in for summer, and then they can get ready for kicking on at the beginning of the season. The only time that Tottenham has been successful in the first 10 games of the beginning of a season was when Ange from last year, the year before, sorry. Other than that, we've never been good at the beginning of the season. So there you go. I don't like none of this transfer saga. To talk about this player or to talk about that player is a slap in the face, because why are we not talking about the players we were talking about originally? Why can't we afford 65 million to buy Boemo? What's wrong? Xavi Simons. Yeah, well, we might buy him because we might sell him for 100 million plus. That's the way Levy is. So we're never going to be buying players that we think are good for us. We're going to be buying players that will become good for someone else. The one time Kulusevski and Bentancur came into our club, right? Yeah, was a complete fluke. Come on, look at the history of our transfers, right? Yeah, and you know that Kulusevski, Bentancur bought in the January transfer window, or loaned in the January transfer window, and for cheap money, and that's never happened for Tottenham. And the only reason why was because of Paratici. So, and the first season for Kulusevski, he did absolutely fantastic. It took him another 2 years before he got to that stage again. Bentancur, I haven't seen enough of Bentancur. Everyone talks about him as if he's fantastic, but yes, he is a fantastic player, but I haven't seen enough of him to be called a fantastic player for one whole season. Has he given us a full season right yet? Oh, fantastic. The answer is no. Basuma, let's face it, I've got to give hats off to Basuma. He did do something in the final. He did even do the goal line clearance, for crying out loud. No one even talks about it that much. So,
yeah, right.
and yet we're going to talk about selling someone like Romero. Like, what the hell? I think someone's just making shit up in the media. And we still have not caught the person who was leaking information. And who's to say this person or these people were not leaking information last year and the year before?
Yeah, we forgot about the mole, right? Ange says there was a mole.
Yeah. It's Levy.
Hand is gone now, right? So who the hell's the mole? Levy, right?
No, because if he did, right, yeah. No, because what would happen is the club, right, yeah, the HR department for the club, right, yeah, would do him for gross misconduct if he wasn't true. So he's only saying something that he's allowed to say. Otherwise, the board will say, listen, we told you this in secret. Why you got to tell the world? You're making us look like a bunch of idiots. But the fact is that if you have somebody who's leaking information, rightly or wrongly, this sounds like something that's been happening for years, tell you the truth. And yet nothing's happening. No one's been talking about it. So the one time you get a manager telling you the truth, right, yeah, normally after they tell you the truth, what happens? They go. Conte told the truth, he went. Pochettino told the truth, he went. Jose Mourinho told the truth, he went. Ange told the truth, he's gone. That's simple. The managers take the blame, right? Yeah, for the dissatisfaction the fans have, right? Yeah, with the club. It's always the manager that takes the blame for it, and there's nothing different this time. Frank's come in. Frank has got a really wonderful personality, so therefore the fans will like him, and that will give a good grace to Levy for a while. How much influence does Frank have in terms of what players get selected? Frank said that he was part of a 4-man team that was in charge of getting players, a diamond, so to speak. But to tell you the truth, that just sounded like gobbledygook to me. That sounded like gobbledygook as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, kudos.
Sorry,
is it worth getting?
Nothing to do with football, but apparently Will Smith filed for divorce finally with Jada. Thank God. Okay.
Jeez, my guy, fam. I always
to tell you the truth, right? Yeah. I'll tell you the truth, right? Yeah. If there's one person worse out there than Levy, right? Yeah, to manage the club, it would be his wife. Right. So whenever you think there can't be anyone worse than Levy, there's always someone worse.
Why is wife?
Got Will Smith, man.
Why is wife?
No,
I just saw it, like it came up on my YouTube just now, and I googled it. Apparently, it's actually happening. Actually, of course.
Okay, listen. We've gone from talking crap right here to talking bollocks. So
yeah, I don't know about you, man. You might talk good.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, yeah.
Okay, so listen. Is there anyone here?
Wait.
Is there anyone here that knows about Kudos? Is there anyone here that knows about Kudos the player? Tell us more about him.
Yeah, I looked at him, right, 2 years ago, right, when he first came into the scene, right. He looked okay.
He looked okay. So we won't forget you. Yeah.
Right. So the only thing is, all I can say, right, if we do get him, if we do get the Kudos that came in the first season that he was playing on for the second season with West Ham, then I wouldn't mind having him. But guys, like, I mean, there's this Spurs.
Okay, let me ask you a question, guys.
Yeah,
that was the question I was going to ask.
All right,
okay. Let me reword that question, right? Yeah. Have you guys noticed, right? Yeah, that Kudos, that until it was mentioned that Tottenham was interested in Kudos, there was no other team rumored to be interested in him, and now all of a sudden there is.
Newcastle.
So has Kudos reached that level where he's about to break into first team?
I mean, a top team, I think.
Like I said before he came on, I want Elanga. I don't really want Kudos.
I don't want either.
No, but I told you,
Yeah, you said that. You said your dad preferred Elanga as well.
We missed out on Elanga, right? Sorry, after we missed out on Kudos, right? The next link that we're going to put a bid for is Elanga. Don't worry, you'll get your Elanga.
But what are we doing? I don't understand what the point of it all is.
No, we're doing what Spurs do every season.
Well, to tell you the truth, the reason why Look. The reason why I asked that question earlier about whether or not you guys have changed since we won the Europa League is because there's part of you that says if we don't get Kudos, then we might get someone even worse.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is they show you something really great. No, it doesn't happen. They show you something next great, doesn't happen. They show you something third great, doesn't happen. Then they show you something like Kudos, and part of you so scared, right, of not getting nothing that you want to grab him. Right? It's blatant Levy Jedi mind trick on you.
Good
It's
Jedi mind.
gaslighting.
I mean,
We're good, man.
yeah, but what I'm saying sounds very tinfoil hat, but is it true? And the answer is yes, it is, because there's so many managers that said Levy operates this way. I mean, yesterday I saw an article that turned around and said that Qatari group decided to back out from buying Tottenham because of Levy. And the thing is with that's nothing new, because the last Qatari group, right? Yeah, when Pep Guardiola, right? Yeah, was talking about Levy, he didn't pull any punches. So people out there with big balls say the truth, and yet we, the fans, we forget to put that together every time we say something. So Kudos, let's filter it with the Levy filter, and the Levy filter is Kudos young? Yes. Can he be proven to know our system? Yes. So therefore, his resale value can be good, or you can sell some T-shirts, or you can get some exposure in a different part of the world. That's how it works.
So, Mr. K, do you think that's why we bought the Japanese bloke then? Because he's from Japan.
Right. So the Japanese bloke, I remember 5 years ago there was a Japanese defender that was pretty good. I remember about 3 years ago there was a South Korean defender that was very good. But it seems to me that we need exposure in Japan. And the way I look at it is that until we bought that boy, was his name mentioned anywhere? He hasn't even tried anything outside his country. So it seems to me that yes, we're trying to get some exposure in that part of the world. Heung-min Son is leaving, but did we not buy some really, really young South Korean as well?
Korean, Kim, what's the name?
Yang Min-hyuk.
Right. So, yeah. Young man from Seoul.
I met some Korean.
So it seems to me that sometimes. Go on.
Sorry, I met some Korean fans outside the stadium, and they showed me and my friend as a video of his play out before he signed for us, or whatever. And he gave my friend like a shirt of the team he was at or something. But obviously, it has got some exposure to Korea and retained some of the fans, because obviously Son's staying now anyway. But before, we didn't know that, right? So, there was other alternative motives.
Hold on. The rumor that's a rumor by I don't know. Has the club come out to say Son is staying? I don't know. Right?
Apparently that was the talk this morning. That's what I saw this morning.
Yeah, someone put some ITK put it on, right, on Twitter to say that.
Because Sava's stream says it's staying. Anyway, that's what is the anyway. Sorry, we were saying about the Japan guy. You think it's a signing for exposure, basically?
Yeah.
The thing is, if you do look back in the last few years, Tottenham has been buying youth players that have got lots of potential, right? These ain't exactly nobody youngsters. They do, before they come to this club, have got very high potential, and sometimes I'm very much surprised that we actually get them. For example, when we got Bergvall, I was really surprised we got him. Yeah. Gray, for example. Gray, I did not expect us to get Gray. Anyone who's been playing Football Manager the last 5 years, right, knows about Andy Gray. And me, I couldn't. In the game simulation, I couldn't get to buy him. He wouldn't leave Leeds, but for some reason, he did for Tottenham in real life. So to get such a young player, it's like we're forgetting that some of these players have got incredibly good potential. But just because they're playing for Tottenham, the media does not give them the attention they deserve. If Gray was playing for Chelsea or Liverpool or Man City, then they'd be getting loads of attention. They'd be saying, "Yeah, the next best thing, future England manager, captain." That's what I think Gray is. I think Gray is a future England captain. He's that good, and we never even seen him playing in normal position. He's meant to play at number 8.
Yeah, maybe this season.
Right?
maybe we'll get to, right? We don't get to see him.
Do you think then, Mr. K? Do you think because obviously Frank came in, Frank wanted Johnson at Brentford, and he wanted Gray at Brentford. Do you think he has a plan for those players then next season?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. Before Frank came in, or rather at the very early stage of Frank, there was a very good feeling in the Spurs fan base that we were going to get Buemba.
Yeah, I thought that too.
Right, and then getting Frank right, it was. There was even talk, maybe the fact that we got Frank would increase our chance of getting Buemo. And then very, very soon after that, it was like Buemo telling Spurs, go screw yourself. No. And we're not even in the picture anymore. Right, so an awful lot of the stuff that I hear that Frank's involved in, right, I don't take anything. I take all of it with a pinch of salt. How can you come into a club, right, and Frank is one of those nice blokes, right, that doesn't seem to be incredibly pushy. So if he's not pushy, he's going to get walked all over by Levy. That's a proven fact. We've seen it time and time again. Poch, right, didn't push Levy too much, and for a season and a half, he didn't get no freaking transfers. So that tells me. Yeah, so we know for a fact that if you look at the facts, we know for a fact that Frank really has got very little say. I think he's got about 5% say in who comes in. Like, if you look at Ange Postecoglou last season, right? What did he really do? He looked at most of the players that were being transferred across were players that would stay in the club for about 5 or 6 years minimum. And what was Ange used for? Ange was used as a lure to bring them in. This player doesn't want to sign for Spurs. Ange goes and talks to him. He signs for Spurs. This player didn't want to sign for Spurs. Ange talks to him. He signs for Spurs. And he even turned around and said, "Listen, we don't want players that just want to come here because of a Champions League. We want players that want to come to Tottenham." And that's the type of player Levy wants. That's the type of player Levy wants. He wants to sell that player in the future to a Champions League club and make lots of money. That's why our wage structure is so pathetic.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, for me, my issue with, we won the Europa League. Yeah, I was happy. It was one of the best days. The parade, I went to the parade. It was incredible. Like, probably one of the best days. As a Spurs fan in my whole life, right? But I still wanted Ange to go. I still didn't believe in Levy changing, and we've seen this already, this window. But for me, I've been Levy out mainly because of the transfer policy and just the lies he's fed us, because I'm not stupid, because I know he's lied to us countless times. And I hate people that lie in general, right? So I've been Levy out since 2012, since he told us we'll make the Champions League, then we'll buy better players, which we obviously didn't do. So for me, that was the tipping point was a Saha and Nelson window, because I knew he wasn't serious. But for me, with us, the problem Spurs have is if you bring in a manager like Conte or a Jose that pushes Levy, the guy's going to get sacked. If you bring in someone who's too much of a yes man, we're going to be stuck in the same. I don't know how to say it. I like Frank and I picked Frank because I think he could work with Levy, not because I agree with Levy's tactics. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, basically, look, we as a fan base, we're that held to ransom, right? Hostage, right? We're desperate for any manager that can come in, that can work his magic on Levy and improve the squad, right? So we see Frank, right? as one of those people that can do that, who won't push Levy too far in terms of you got to give me big signings, right? And at the same time, he works with all the players to improve them, and he talks to the fans really well. The media love him for a start. So whenever you think of the word Frank, in your mind, you see someone smiling. And I mean, have you ever seen Frank angry? I haven't.
No.
So that tells you that we as a fan base can benefit from having a manager like Frank in the doors. Because he can work out. Maybe we don't know, but maybe he can. Funny enough, you mentioned 2012 was when you decided to go Levy out. I decided to go Levy out when I joined more. I spent time with Spurs fan base. Before that, I didn't know anything about the things that went on behind the scenes with our club. It was only when I joined, I spent more time, maybe Facebook or whatever, with the first Spurs fan base, and then asked questions, because I didn't know, and then I got blasted with just asking a question. Like, for example, when I first joined Spurs fan base and so on, the question I asked was, why haven't we bought a player for three transfer windows? And I got blasted back saying that Poch was responsible for that. And in my brain, it doesn't make any sense, right? So that told me, that there's something funny going on. And and then I said to myself, these channels that I'm going through to see fans base, right? Yeah, they're fake. We're the real fans. And that's when I started finding people like, for example, that's when I found people like Eugene and all the rest of them, because they were willing to answer the questions which I had. Whereas before it was a case of how dare you even try to look down at Levy? He's done so many wonderful things for our club. I knew straight away that's a lie. Straight away I knew that's a lie, because the whole idea is that you want glory, right? And to me, it doesn't. If you can't answer basic questions about the steps that you are taking towards glory, but those steps don't make sense, right? And that's the situation right now. We're talking about kudos. Is getting kudos a step in the right direction to getting success?
Yeah.
Right. The answer is if there is no player left on the planet, they're all dead, and kudos is the only one left alive. Then yeah, fair enough. Ask the question. Otherwise, consider yourself that there's over 1 million frigging midfield players out there, and this is the only player you can talk about. Are you joking? Are you wasting your time? Are you wasting my time? Are you wasting time with the fans? We have to talk about it because the club has told us to talk about it. And that's look. I haven't been on any stream before. Why? Because I didn't waste my time with people like Bremer and all the rest of them. Because that's all fake news. I knew it was fake news. That's those players trying to get themselves an increased wage, right? Yeah, somewhere like Man United or somewhere else. They're not really interested in coming to bloody Spurs, right? So winning the cup hasn't meant nothing for us because those players are professional enough and they know they have to deal with Levy, and they don't want to. Like for example, do you think Bremer's going to get the wages he wants if he comes to Spurs? Not in a million years. Not in a million years. He's going to get somewhere between £300 million when he goes to Man United, guaranteed. Even though the news tell you 200, he's actually going to be with add-ons 300. That's what he's going to get in Man United. I mean, that's the reason why Man United were trying to cut the money short when they were trying to give it to them. Pay 62 million instead of 65. That's meant to be the minimum you pay for him, not the maximum.
And United,
anyway, I digress.
Europa League. They're not even in the Champions League. Yeah. They're not even in the Champions League, United, and they're still getting a player.
Yeah, so it seems to me that it doesn't make sense, because if you're a Champions League club, then the players would demand more wages. Look at Casemiro, for example, the wages he's on. Is he still there, or has he left?
No, Romero's still here now.
Not Romero, Casemiro.
Casemiro.
Casemiro at Man United.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he's
right. So he's rinsing the money from there. He's rinsing the money. But
no, that's one
listen,
thing.
guys, I got to make a move. I've got a few things which I need to do.
Okay.
But if you ask me the question, do we bring Kudos in? Then I would say bring Kudos in, because he could. I think he could match up with Sarr quite nicely. Nice. I think potential's there for sure.
Mr. K, answer this question below you. Does Romero?
All right, boys.
Yeah,
I'll catch you all later. Come on, you Spurs.
All right, take care.
And Levy out.
Leave you out.
Sorry, say again? Does
Romero make our team?
Right. Nita. Romero is one of the reasons why we have a defense. Look, honestly, I'm not even joking. This guy was the best defender in Serie A. Serie A is one of the leagues in the world which is known for defensive makeup, and this guy was the best there. On top of that, he played with Messi. He's laced his boots and won the World Cup with it. We must be the most deluded club on the planet right here if we think people like Romero ain't good enough for us, or he ain't a good defender. That's because we've been listening to the media too long, and the media decided they're going to get on next man's back. If you decide to lunge forward right here and tackle someone, 50-50 chance going to get a red card. That's like anyone else. Simple as that. Yes, he makes our team 1,000,000 times better. But if he goes, I'd like to think what on earth we're going to do.
The media controls the narrative.
Sorry?
The media controls.
Yeah, but I think the media can. The thing is, the media can have any narrative you want. But if the fan base decides to push back right, then the media can't keep doing it all the time. But the point is, our fans are like that. They've accepted Levy. They can accept other bullshit too.
Yeah.
Look, the way Ange was fighting the media last year, the way Ange was fighting the media last year, he did it on our behalf. That was something to be proud of. The way he pushed people back when they're asking innuendo questions, he would see right through it. No politeness. Bang. You think I'm a clown? 48 hours later, won the Europa League. Yeah, he silenced everybody. But did Spurs silence anybody? The answer is no. If Ange had stayed, then that would have stuck. The two would have been together in terms of don't mess with Spurs. But because he left, it's like, oh yeah, we can laugh at Spurs again. Okay.
But then you say
anyway, listen, guys.
I went to the last game.
Go on.
Okay, all right. I went to the last game, right, and the Brighton destroyed us, yeah, and they were still taking the piss out of us.
Sorry, I gotta go.
That's okay. All right, take it. Okay. You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Yep, on mute.
I still don't know what you man think about Kudus.
Oh no, because you don't know what you were doing, man. You were on mute, so I couldn't hear you.
No, it's because I just muted up because I can't like my man. He was getting the shit off in it, so I was like, let me not interrupt.
Okay, because I was like, yeah, but like Kudus for me, it will improve us 100%. But it's not enough, man. Like we need three first team players, really. Arguably 4, I'd say.
So would you sign him for the 65 mil that we're supposed to offer?
Are we offering 65?
Yeah.
I think we're offering 60, and West Ham want at least 65 to 70. Which is why I don't think we're going to sign him. But would you, if Tottenham, let's say Tottenham put down 65 mil and they sign him, would you be happy with that, or would you rather not sign him for 65?
I'd sign him because, like unfortunately, like he said, we're scared about if we don't sign him, who else we could get. So this is the problem, I guess. Like, who else is there?
But don't you think that? Because I'm not signing him. I'm not signing for that.
I know. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you came from my stream, so you know you chin.
Huh? No, I think I'm saying, right, like like I said, to me now, right, this transfer window is still early, right? Is this the last chance saloon kind of thing for Kudus for us to get a player in? I don't know, right? For that quality, maybe the next player that comes in, like I said, if once the Kudus, mark my words, guys, right? If this Kudus story ends, right, and all of a sudden we'll be linked to Elanga. You watch that, right? And then the heat will come up again, and then we'll go through the same cycle. But whether we'll get him or not, I'm not sure. But Harry would prefer Elanga. To tell the truth, I wouldn't mind Elanga. But at this moment in time, being a Spurs fan, whoever first team player that we can get our hands on, I'll take it.
We'll take it. Right? We'll take it.
We have to take it, right?
I mean, you remember in 05, Eugene, 20 years ago, we were doing the same kind of transfers we've been doing, like just buying young players since last summer. Like, but I mean, to an extreme extent. Like last summer, we bought most of the young players plus one first teamer. The way this summer's going, we're looking at the same sort of window. I think the way it's going. Yeah, and
don't forget, last summer transfer window, we got our first teamer in the last minute of the transfer window. Sure. All right. We got Solanke. Yeah. Remember?
That's why I wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, we could be linked to. Yeah, you remember? This links to all this. Like I said earlier in Saba Show, all this interest in all these players, right? That we have now, right? Mbuemo, Eze, Kudos, right? If by end of season they have not moved anywhere, then maybe we'll have a chance to sign them. Simple as that. That's not what they used to say, right? That's what Spurs does. We have to wait last minute. You know? Let's see who plays
Spurs. That's what we used to say. Remember, we used to say that, didn't we?
Yeah. And Nita, does Romero make our team any better? Of course, Romero does make our team better, right? We have seen it before, but the problem is that for me is that it's not to say whether I want him gone or not, but the thing is that my question is, does Romero wants to be here with us? That's the question. Because last 3 seasons I've seen him, be more willing to play for Argentina than Spurs. So I don't know. Maybe Romero's getting frustrated because when he came
I wanted to stay.
But he knows what quality is. Imagine if you're a player, but but if you come in as a player with ambitions, right, and you know what quality is, right, and when a club in this past 2 years has signed 3 youngsters, one first teamer, and then we're looking like we're going to do the same thing again, 3 to 4 youngsters and 1 first teamer, right? That shows the ambitions of our club, right? And he's really won his trophy.
The player. There's no benefit for the player, is it really?
To tell the truth, right? If you don't love Spurs and you're just there as a professional to earn a salary, if someone else comes for you and pays your money higher, at the moment now, how much is Romero making at Spurs?
160, I think. Something like that.
You're right. It's like 160, I think. Yeah.
160. If Madrid comes in and says, I'm going to give you 250, wouldn't you go?
Yeah.
It's about the
That's
money.
what I'm saying. Like, yeah, when people, the fans don't realize like the players don't feel about the club the way the fans feel about the club.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the players don't care, bro. Like them. This is why all this we need the loyalty. We need play for the. Man, shut up, man. About play for the badge. These men ain't playing for no badge. They're playing because it's their job. You know what I'm saying? I just want someone who's gonna do their job the best. That's it. I don't care
unless you talk about players like Son and Ben Davies.
Yeah, unless it's them players, but it's like no one at the club right now loves Spurs. No one player at the club loves Spurs. They're employed by the club and they get paid money to play. So I just want someone
back
who's
in the day.
do their job.
Sonny loves Spurs.
Apart from Son and Davies, they're the only two. Apart from them.
But back in the day, it was different because obviously there were a lot more players from the youth academies playing in the Premier League for each.
Yeah, because there was less money to go around. That's why.
Yeah, but nowadays it's not. That's not the case. Everyone's a mercenary, pretty much.
Yeah, that's why there's just more money for business.
Yeah,
that's why then you come back to the scenario. This transfer window, right? KWP, was it Carl Walker Peters, right? He's coming back, right? And I said that to me, right, is a necessity signing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because to me, that homegrown and academy-grown quota for the Champions League, right? We need
plus English as well.
Yeah, plus English, yes, of course. Yeah. That's what we need. It's not a good signing. It's a necessity signing, right? It's necessary to have him there, right? If not, then next season we'll be having like 5 or 6 really young players from the academy in the squad for the Champions League, which could be a bit hairy, right? Because you're no more in the Europa League, right? Remember in the Europa League we could have put on who scored? Was it Ajayi,
Scarlett, and Mikey Moore? Yeah,
right.
I guess I'll
from the academy in the squad, right? Tell me, do you think, right, if we were in the same scenario during that game, right, we bring in these 3 players and these 3 players going to score against some team in the Champions League? I'm not even saying a big name team. You can say that. Let's say one of the.
First.
Imagine we're playing. Hey, we got Chris.
I'm saying you work for the bad, literally, yeah. Like when I was working for Sainsbury's, I'm not working for the love of the game, bro. I want my check. I'm saying I'm not out here going to war at Asda. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing my Sainsbury's uniform, waving purple flags in Tesco. Like I'm not doing that, bro. I just want my money. That's all it is,
I've got
man.
a picture of you. You know, I live in Asda, Elijah. I've got a picture of you now walking into Asda with like a flag.
With a purple flag. I got an Asda near me. I might buy a purple flag just to do it. Well, yeah, we work for the money, man. That's what it goes. Especially if, like, obviously you have to like enjoy football to a certain extent to like become a professional. But at the end of the day, people think about their money. Like the reason people loved the game a lot before is because there wasn't a lot of money in the game. Unless you were like the top player, there wasn't like life-changing, life-sustaining money. And now, especially recently with Saudi coming in, before it was China offering people like crazy contracts like Oscar and Hulk and them, man. Now it's Saudi Arabia, which is just the new China, offering all this money and players getting hundreds of thousands per week. It's not about the love of the game no more. It's just about the money. So
I don't care.
Once you talk about that kind of wealth, you talk about generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? Once if you go there, right, work for 5 years, right, your next 3 generations, if they spend the money well and grow well, right, you don't have to worry about anything anymore, right?
Yeah.
That's the money has corrupted the game. So what are you gonna say? In the next 5 years, right, your average midfielder will cost you 50 million pounds because everything goes up in price. Yes, you know. So,
well, it depends on where you buy them.
No, but you can see the gradual growth of the players, right? A decent defender 10 years ago, how much would he cost? A decent defender, you get him now, how much it cost? Even you talk about like Archie Gray. If we bought Archie Gray 10 years ago, he wouldn't be 40 million pounds. He would be a 20 million pound player, right?
But that's the England. That's the England and like the English tax in it with it. Because like for example, Turkey was 40 million euros. You know what I'm saying? So it's just where you buy and like what like different countries, different nationalities, they cost less, in it like that. That's actually a real thing. Like people like make fun of it on Twitter.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, right?
Real thing.
What should Levy should have done the first thing, apart from just changing the manager, right? He should have gone over to Brighton and just paid the Brighton, the recruitment team and brought them over here.
Yeah, literally could have done something like that. But that's why I wanted Tottenham to go into to take more and put more effort into scouting rather than signing like 6, 7 out of 10 players for exorbitant money, because this is what you get in it. Like we get Solankis and Ndombeles and Kudus if he signs, and Richarlison, and these are the players you get when you overspend on players that aren't good enough.
Guys, to tell the truth, right, the Ndombele signing, right, was the biggest waste of money. Ndombele signing was signed, what, 5 years ago or 6 years ago at £65 million, with him not even
6 years ago, 6 years ago, yeah, 6 years ago.
6 years ago, not with him not even in the Premier League. There wasn't even a Premier League tax there. We bought him from a French team, if I'm not mistaken.
65 million, wasn't it?
I say it was the most biggest overpricing of and he scored on his debut as well. We all thought he was going to be certain.
Yeah,
but literally, it's what happens is because Tottenham don't have the pull of the bigger teams, we can't get the bigger players. So we'll spend that amount of money on tier 2 caliber players, and like Kudus is one of them. That's a tier 2 caliber player. So that, like, that's why I'd rather.
I would argue though, Elijah, that obviously I agree with you in the sense that we can no read by that level of player, but also that level of player is only going to cost you 60 million now, like 65 million. If you want a top tier players, they're 80 plus now, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, but I mean, Mbuemo, and that includes the Premier League tax as well. But like, even so, like, I think Premier League tax and England tax, they're both separate, but it's definitely a thing in it. I think, for example, like Tyler Dibbling in January was viewed at 50 million, and he was at Southampton, and he was still viewed as 50 million because he's English and in the Prem. Even though Southampton were rock bottom the whole season, he was still valued at 50 million pounds. And it's just a thing where it's like, if you're in another country, you automatically cost less. If you're not English, you automatically cost less. And
in England,
when you're in England, you cost less in it. And the things with Kudus is like a maximum of 40 million player. Like really, if he wasn't playing for West Ham, if he was still at Ajax, I think West Ham paid 40 million for Kudus from Ajax.
You're right, from Ajax.
Literally
23 million or so.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just as bro put in the comments, Arsenal paid 50 million for Ben White, who's not even their first choice right back no more. But like that's what happens when you're in the Prem and English. You just cost more. That's what it is. And like, there's players who could have cost half of that, who are on the same level as Ben White, on the level of Kudus. Like Man City again, they signed Cherky, but like City also signed Reinders. You know, like he's not Prem proven, and he costs I forget how much he cost. But Bino Gittins, not Prem proven, something like that, yeah. But like Bino Gittins, not Prem proven at all. But he signed for like 40
we were linked to Gittins too, right? Last January.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like Arsenal signing Zubamendi and stuff like that, like not Prem proven. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, but when you look at, as Nita just put, Grealish, Declan Rice, you know, these players, are they worth 100 million? Not really. But English and the Premier League, they're gonna cost more. That's how it goes, especially Grealish. At least Declan Rice, there's a bit of an argument. For Grealish, it's not even an argument. He's not worth 100 million. And even now,
his release clause, I think it was his release clause, right? Wasn't it 100 million?
Yeah.
Even if it was a release clause, let's say there wasn't a release clause, he's still going for about 80 million.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
He would still go to Man City for like 80 million. But that's just how it is, really. And I think there's a lot of talent overseas. And that's why I want to invest in the scouting, because if we can't beat Man United to Mbuemo and they don't have Europe, there's a huge problem.
That's why I'm saying Levy is, like you're saying, the scouting, right? We should have go and just get the Brighton, that whole system over there.
I agree.
And they produce the type of players that Levy wants, right? You get them cheap, right, overseas for from 15 million pounds to about 30 million pounds, right? And then they come in, and then they move on as a 50 million pound player or 60 million pound player.
100.
That's what they do. And you know who's crucial to that as well? It's Mitoma. Mitoma's very crucial to that, because people will forget this. In January, Saudi offered 75 million for Mitoma, and Brighton turned them down. But the reason Brighton turned them down is because Mitoma actually teaches. He's pretty much like, he's actually the teacher to these wingers. He teaches them how to dribble. Yeah, that's what he does. Like he's like a player coach. He teaches them how to dribble, that the wingers that come in and help refine their dribbling. So he's actually worth more than the money that they would get for him, because not only is he playing and he's also a very good winger, he's also helping the development. of their future assets as well. So even like players like that, this is why I was such an advocate for Son to take a step back and help coach the players like Odebear and I guess Tell now because he signed. But yeah, like Mikey Moore and stuff like that, because Son is, even if Son is like over the hill, he still is an all-time great winger, or at least an all-time Spurs player. He's definitely a Spurs legend, one of the top legends of all time. He definitely has, even if he doesn't have the ability, he has the IQ and he has the mindset and he has the ability to show these players what to do, which is why I love the veteran. If we have veteran leadership, players like Son, and now to be fair, all of these men are European champions, isn't it? So we have veteran leadership here, but players like Vicario, players like Son, you know what I'm saying, players at that type of level, they're hitting like 30 plus, even players like Ben Davies at this point. I don't want you playing, but if you act as like a coach to some of these men, a player coach, giving advice, showing people how to do this, how to do that, that's actually worth more than any money that we could get for Ben Davies, for example, because what he's worth like 10 mil, 10 mil. If he became a player coach and actually, if he became a player coach focused on development and actually helping the younger guys, that's worth more than the 5 mil you get for him. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So we just have to basically use what we can use, because we can't compete with the attraction of like Chelsea and Arsenal and City and now United and Liverpool.
Yeah, I got this thing, right? I think Ben Davies next season will go to Wrexham if they come up to the Premier League.
That's the link. That was the link, wasn't it? He's going to Wrexham.
Yeah, something like that. I actually don't know, to be fair. But yeah, we just have to, like, overall points, we have to go down the scouting and development route, because as far as I've been a fan, which is not long, but it's like still like 13 years basically, all the needle moving players we've ever had have been developed. You know what I'm saying? Son was developed here. He still had stuff that he was developed and became his prime here. Kane, he got into his prime here. Bale got into his prime here. You know what I'm saying? If you want to count Eriksen, he got into his prime here. Vertonghen got into his prime here. You know, every player that that has been like that much of a needle mover and a ceiling raiser, they've got into their prime here. So, in my opinion, that's what you got to do for a club like Spurs. And then because we're bigger than Brighton and Bournemouth, we can still, as Eugen said, we can still get their recruitment team. We can buy them up because we're still a bigger club than them. If they develop a player we missed out on, we can quickly just go grab them because we're still a bigger club. They'll still view Tottenham as a step up, even if we're a step up to another step. We're still a step up from Brighton and Bournemouth. So, I believe that we can really just be sniping all the best talent, and like similar to what Dortmund do, innit? We can just filter all the talent through us. But because we can actually win trophies, and we've proven that we can get the trophy drought off us, we could actually win trophies in that way.
No, but Elijah, you're saying like a lot of them come here and you know, develop to their prime here. That's the problem, right? Every time we get a player to develop to their prime here, right, it doesn't actually benefit us in the overall the challenge for the Premier League. You get what I'm saying? We need a mixture of, you know, developing players into their prime, and of course have that prime players here. Then maybe we will have a chance in challenging in the Premier League or the Champions League. You know, we will tell the truth, right? The 2019 final run was some sort of a miracle kind of a run that we had, but of course, in that day we still couldn't get across the line. Okay? But as you go on as a club at this moment in time, right? What can we fans do, right? Every transfer window, we sit here, we go through, we moan and bitch about the same thing over and over again. You know, the only thing is that a lot of us, or some of us, right, have come to the stage to understand that, you know, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's Spurs. We're linked to people, we monitor people, we're interested in people, right? We're all the bingo words that, you know, Brian Daigle likes to play, right, in his transfer window bingo words, right? The buzzwords for Spurs. So what I can say at this moment is that, right, the transfer window this season is going to be long because it goes past August, if I'm not mistaken, because of the stupid Club World Cup thing, which is still happening in America, which are the only, I think, English team left is Chelsea, right? So, yeah. And the money that's there, I don't know, let's see what happens with the money that the teams get, right? And to tell the truth, right, if Spurs play their cards right, because this coefficient thing, I think, is calculated every 4 years. We've already won the Europa League, so we've got quite high coefficient points. If we can maintain that, right, hard to say, in the next 4 years, you'll see Spurs playing the Cup World Cup, right? You know, that's one of the kind of dreams.
Yeah, you know? Sure.
Imagine if we maintain ourselves in the Champions League, right, and none of the other English teams, right, have won a Champions League or any European Cup apart from us, right, and then we always make it. Let's say we get into the semi-finals or quarterfinals of each Champions League, right, for the next four years to come, right?
Guys, Club World Cup.
Really in the World Cup, you know. But we'll never know.
It's a long way. It's a long way.
Yeah, but there are two spots, right? Don't forget, guys. There are 2 spots. It could be the second team to go in, right? Maybe Man City will win another Champions League. They will get an automatic ticket, right? You know, but you count the history, we won a Europa League, so we're more prestigious than the rest of the crowd. But talking about transfers, for me, being a Spurs fan, being on YouTube for the past 5 years, the transfer window to me, I hardly ever make shows because we know we're all bullshit, right? Until we do sign one player that actually excites me or excites us, right? Then we will do a show on it. You know, at the moment we've signed who? Yeah, Matisse Tell, right? And I'll say Matisse Tell is a convenient signing. You get what I'm saying? Totally convenient signing for us. Easy deal done, right? With the Hurricane and with the links there, right? The other guy was Danso. Danso was an obligation to buy, guys, right? So we had to sign him. Yeah, so we got another guy. So while if I was Levy, I'd be looking. I already got 3 players in. Who else do we have? We got Danso, Pell, of course Takai, right? The Japanese boy coming in, and then we got this Oliver Bose, right? We got from Leeds or something, under 16, under 21. So we're buying the young players again. We're buying the young players again. That's why
it's like in 2005, Eugene. That's the same where we're going.
Yeah. No, Harry. The best part is, right, we'll still be dragged on. Like after this Kudus deal, you know, drops coal, right? Then we'll go on to the next player. Because there's so many players in the Premier League that we're interested in, right? One by one, you know, we'll go past them, right? And of course, the defenders, we're buying defenders. Do we need another forward player, right? And all of us are shouting for a number 6. Have you had any links with a number 6?
No number 6.
Nope.
No number.
Yeah. But I just tell you, they don't want to sign. They don't want to sell. Either they can't sell Basuma and that man, or they don't want to.
Yeah. No, I don't. To tell the truth, right? Thomas Frank has just come in. He's the new manager. My question at the moment, right? The players on holiday, right? And they're on their way back now. We are not mistaken, right? That's why what happened to yesterday. Yeah. That's why the tragedy that happened, right? They're on their way back for preseason training, right? So I guess in the next week or 2, we will get a picture of who Frank wants and who Frank doesn't want. Because not even a week or 2. 19th of is it 19th? Is it we start playing our friendly games on the 19th, right? So what's the friendly?
We have the other competition as well, though. What's it called again? It's got my head. We never got to play Super Cup as well.
Yeah, the Super Cup's in August, right? And then of course, once you see the players on board of the plane going out for these pre-friendlies in Asia and all that,
in Korea,
in Korea, and then of course in Hong Kong, right, in Asia, then we'll see who are the players on board of the plane, because Levy ain't going to pay the money for a player where Frank has got no interest in. It's very obvious, right? He's going to cut costs. Why am I going to bring a player unless the player is injured, right? He's a first teamer. He's injured. He might as well don't bring him. And then a lot of things is that players once they're going through the injury, right, they are not allowed to fly. The doctors won't won't give the instructions to fly, right? So we will see who are the players going on that plane. Then we will know which are the players that Frank is actually looking at.
Keeping, and
keeping, right? I don't know. Maybe Levy will, because we won the Europa League. It's going to be a party time in Asia. Woo-hoo.
Start spending the money.
Yeah. No. Let the players go out and have a good party in an Asian.
Mate, they were so drunk at the parade, man.
Yeah, let them get drunk in Asia and have fun. Yeah. Everybody will be crashing in Son's house, right, to have a barbecue. Yeah. Manchester United, we do our barbecues in a player's house, not in the stadium.
Gosh.
Yeah. No, it's the truth, right? All of us now, right? Ange is out. Frank is here. We don't know what Frank wants, right? Are we going to be 3 at the back, 4 at the back? Who's in the midfield? Is he going to play 2 up front, 1 up front, right? No one up front.
No one up front.
Yeah. So, we're going to sit back and have a look.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah, Korean barbecue. Yeah.
Even the chicken shops.
Yeah. I know. But to tell the truth, we've been here before. We've done this before, right? But of course, if you're not linked to any players, the content coming out from the Spurs, YouTube them will be everybody cussing the club. Why aren't you linked to players, right? And then once we get linked to one player, right, then everyone will jump on that one player, that focus, right? Imagine all YouTubers now, the bigger YouTubers are doing shows on Kudos. Every single one of them, right? Whoever linked to, we're going to be linked to Dave Winter, another defender. Oh, everybody's going to do that, right? Imagine you're not linked to any.
Xavi Simmons as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not touching Xavi. Nah, I don't know about him. I know about Kudos though. But yeah,
if we don't,
Kyle
Walker Peters.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you mean? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it is actually Kyle Walker.
Yeah. You're talking about Kyle Walker himself, the 33-year-old Kyle Walker. I don't know. Whoa, message to you about Kyle. Kyle Walker is coming back.
Oh, Burnley. Fairs. I said Burnley for how much? 5 million.
Yeah. Let Kyle Walker go to Burnley, right? Most probably he'll tear us.
Yeah.
And then, guys, haven't you found it weird, right? The Turkish teams are doing so much better business than us. John Duran is going to Galatasaray or Fenerbahce. Why didn't we get him on loan? You're going to say, why didn't we get him? Oh, yeah, because don't forget, Fenerbahce has got Jose Mourinho there, right?
Newcastle pushing Elanga from Forest. New bid worth 50 million plus bonuses.
Insane.
So there goes your Elanga.
So 50 million for Elanga is insanity, bro.
55. Come on, right? You were talking about the English tax and the Premier League tax, and then if you're English and in the Premier League, right,
he's not English though. Is he Swedish?
Oh, he's Swedish.
Yeah, you're right.
He's Swedish. He's not English. Yeah, he's Swedish. But yeah, Premier League tax. You're right though. But it's just like, damn.
Yeah.
If he was English, right, it must be 75.
Yeah, probably. I can't lie. Yeah.
This is why some players are costing like crazy money, and they should not cost crazy money, basically.
It's just the market, right? Ever since Real Madrid started that Galactico trend, right? They used to splash money like crazy, but now they can't. Right? Even Barcelona couldn't sign Nico Williams, right? They can't register players again. Right? Can't meet their financial obligations and all that blah blah blah, right? And my question was that why didn't if you want the Nico Williams is young, right? Just get him for a while. But we ain't gonna splash 100 million on Nico Williams so we can sell it to Barca for 200 because we know Barca doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
Remember the days when Barca paid how much for and this is not recently. About 5 years ago, they paid what? 125 million pounds for Coutinho or something like that.
Yeah, they were just throwing money about.
Yeah. Right. And then they bought João Felix for another 125, 100, 125. That was crazy money.
Was it João Felix?
Yeah, the João Felix, yeah. Yeah, Google
Barca, was it Barca that paid him? I don't know if it was Barca.
I think Chelsea.
No, it was one Felix guy.
Chelsea?
No, Chelsea got him after that.
Oh,
was he at Barcelona?
Yeah.
Yeah, Felix was at Barcelona.
I don't even remember him at Barca. Fuck,
He didn't play many games, I don't think.
Yeah.
Raw, I didn't even know he played for Barcelona. I completely forgot he played for Barcelona.
What the hell?
Jesus Christ.
Piers Morgan.
Oh, he was on loan at Barca, so no, he didn't. He got loaned there, but I think it was Atletico who paid the money. I don't think it was.
Oh yeah, sorry, Atletico. Was it Atletico? Yeah. Even Atletico spent hundreds of millions of pounds already to get players, like 100 million euros.
Yeah, they've wasted a lot of money on players sometimes.
And they want Romero if it's close, so yeah.
Yeah, but they just spent 50 million on Alex Baena, so I don't even know if they're gonna have that much money to offer. Well, what do you call it? We're not gonna sell Romero for bare money though, like 60 million.
No, unless it's like 80 million. I don't think he's gonna sell him.
He ain't gonna have a fucking choice if Romero wants to leave. He's going for 60. It's either he sits down and doesn't play, or we sell him for 60. That's literally the
Romero,
yeah.
If he wants to leave that badly, he'll just sit down and not play. That's what Maguire did.
Boycott, right? Most probably Romero will change for Spurs and join the protest.
He'll be with us in the leave you out protest and that just so he can get his deal.
Get his deal.
But it's what players do, man. Yeah. Players just sit out and refuse to play, or even if they do play, they play like Christian Eriksen did and just stroll around the pitch waiting for the 90th minute mark. Yeah, like that's what they do. I can't lie, Harry. That picture, you need to change it, bro. That's a low-key a little bit suspect, bro. I can't lie. So that picture. I don't like that picture, gang. But
that picture is
Romero was
like 8 years ago.
It's a little. I know. Pride Month was last month, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. But if Romero wants to leave, then we can't force him to stay, and he's not going to play like he wants to be here. So 60 million, they're probably offering.
You remember when Nuno was here, and then we had a duck, Harry Kane.
Yeah. Harry Kane so wanted to play, man. He definitely didn't want to leave.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
So like Romero got a driving ban for speeding, complaining not to being able to drive.
Romero driving back for speeding, not be able to drive.
Why have Tottenham not signed anyone? Because we haven't sold anyone.
I have the same question. Why have we not signed anyone? But I don't know.
Who say we haven't signed anyone? We've signed Takai, right? We've signed Tel, right? We've signed Danso. Guys, be happy. Be satisfied, right?
I'm happy with Takai, to be fair. And I'm happy with Danso.
I like to have a look at Takai, right? If that boy turns out to be a baller, right, of a defender who can score goals and defend well, right? And then capture the Japanese market, right? That would be DD's dream. Then Son can go and sail off into the sunset.
So him versus Tomiyasu, man. It'll be North London derbies in Japan.
Oh yeah.
But I will be there, man. I'm happy with Takai, man. I'm happy. It just Tel was just
dead, man. It's dead.
Tel is.
I'm not you, man.
Tel is Timo Wiener number 2.0.
Yeah, I call him French Werner. He's French Werner, man. That's what he is, man.
The French Werner.
Yeah, I agree with Elijah, man. I think he's rubbish. We signed Cobra Kai. That's a good show, man. That's a good show.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Cobra Kai is what? Mortal Kombat, right?
Where is the show? Oh, it's being released. Long day. Long day.
Well, yeah, we don't want to talk
no
about
more North London derby.
Okay.
He's been fairs.
Let's not talk about another
player. Released, seriously?
Oh yeah, we've reached a mutual agreement with Tomiyasu to end his contract with immediate effect. That's tough.
Yeah. Remember, we were chasing after Tomiyasu, right? And then Arsenal got him. Remember, there was one season where we were doing shows about Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
Where's Tomiyasu?
We got Romero Emerson instead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got Chicken Royale. My God.
So that means Arsenal let go of Tierney, Tomiyasu, and Thomas Partey.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Partey on this.
Well, they did. They released him, innit?
Yeah.
Whatever happens to him after post-release ain't none of my concern, innit? He's not playing for Arsenal no more.
In the real world.
We all know what Partey was getting up to anyway, so it's not.
Yeah. We know what Arsenal was getting up to. A lot of meat and mouth. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Arteta.
Yeah, I know what Arsenal's getting up to. They're gonna look for a bigger bottle open.
Yeah, man. I got one right here, man.
Yeah.
We go. It's an empty bottle as well for the tears.
Yeah.
For the tears next season as well.
Yes.
Yeah, man. I ain't got nothing in it, but hey.
I always see X drinks this, right? What? Tears of what? Tears of your loser? Is that a real drink or something like
that? I don't think so. No.
Fun. I can't remember what's the name of the drink, right? It's Tears of something. I don't know.
Right. Let's compare Tel 19 with
any more boring stuff that you want to talk about Spurs or anything else interesting?
There's nothing to talk about. That's the problem. There's literally nothing to talk about.
There's nothing in it. I just want to see what you might thought about Kudus.
Rivals Tears. Yeah. There's a drink called Rivals Tears. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to see what you man thought about Kudus. That was it.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. Elijah, when you next
I got one question.
Oh.
What's happening with Paratici? Is he in or is he out?
He's a consultant.
All about, yeah?
He's a consultant, I heard.
He was a consultant when he was, he was moved from director of football to the consultancy role long time ago because of his case. Now he's supposed to be coming back to do something, right? But all of a sudden, I don't know, we don't even hear anything about it. Everyone was saying, oh, the Dawn is back. So he's just coming back as a consultant again?
Well, that's what what's his name told us earlier, Mr. K. So his ban
Mr.
ended.
K?
Like he's for free man now. So
why would we announce that he's in or something like that, right?
I don't know. Same question I have, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why we're in actually a Twilight Zone FC, right? Where we always go open the door and we find something else there. Yeah.
Who knows, man? Who knows with this club? Nothing's going on. Even though I got told by loads of people, wait till July. We're on the 4th of July. Nothing's happened.
Come on, right? Oh yeah, 4th of July, right? Happy Independence Day to all you guys in America, and of course, sad revolution. What called the Revolution War, right? It was called for the British. Oh, dear. There's a bit of history, right? Yeah, sign Neymar, but we don't sign old parts, right? That's the problem, right?
Long day, man.
If Neymar was 16 years old, then maybe we'll sign him. Neymar Jr. Maybe we get.
What happened? Like, there's no, I don't know. There's just no, the flair from the game's gone, man.
I know. Maybe after we sacked Ange, right? And now everyone is actually in limbo. We don't know what Frank's going to do. We all know that most of all the signings coming in are club signings, right? And we just have to hope for the best that Frank can get the best out of them. All to tell the truth, at the moment now, Frank hasn't come in and evaluate the players that he has. He doesn't know what he needs to strengthen, the type of players that he needs, right? And the criteria. That's why we are looking at more youngsters, getting all these players coming in for the future, right? Apart from that, I guess maybe after this week, maybe next week, we'll get a clearer picture of where we are going to go, where we're heading, right? Whether we'll get in a few, 20-year-old, 25-year-old players and above, instead of getting them in the age of, from 19 to 21, right? So just sit back and enjoy the ride, This is long, right? If you go on other channels and do shows and just shout at them, we've won a trophy. Shut the fuck up. That's all. Right.
Well,
oh man, I guess that's it.
You're gonna have to wait and see. He could, but I don't know yet. Until preseason starts, I don't know what's going to happen with us, really. But anyway, Elijah, when are you next on? You do your solo
a couple
stream.
hours.
The other night, you were live, isn't it?
Yeah. Most of my streams, pretty much all of my streams are solo at this point. But
yeah,
is what it is. I'll be live later. I'll just doing Red Dead playthrough. Well, I'll be talking about Spurs tomorrow.
Oh, exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm doing more exciting. I'm doing more exciting stuff. Most probably on Sunday, I'll be doing the Silverstone F1 Grand Prix show. Watch along.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sign everyone.
I don't know if any of you guys want to join me. I'll be watching since I like to watch things and do a show. So it could be F1. You still can talk about Spurs, right? You still can cuss the owners out.
Moaning about the transfer window in the background. Yeah, problem is, when I went and watch alongs with you, Eugene, I was just cussing out Emerson. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, the best part about doing watch-alongs, the best part about doing Spurs watch-alongs, right, is that we just only remember that we're cussing out our players, we're cussing out our tactics, I don't know. We're not attacking enough, or we're over-attacking, we don't defend enough. We're boring, right? Why are we holding the ball and doing horseshoe? We're playing horseshoe football, yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's basically it, isn't it?
Okay.
Anyway, guys, Eugene, you're next on, you said, for the F1, yeah? You said, right?
Yeah, Sunday F1, I think it's 15 GMT, if I'm not mistaken. That's 15 BST. Yeah, so that's about 10 p.m. Malaysian time, 3 p.m. UK time.
Oh, that's a good time anyway. So, guys, please subscribe to Elijah if you haven't already, and also to Eugene with his F1 stream.
And then, guys, if you're not subscribed to Hazspur TV, please go over to Hazspur TV to subscribe. All you guys on Spurs Vision, right?
Yeah.
Show E and Hazspur the love, right? Too much of E, right? And I always, too much of E always reminds me of something when I was young.
I know what it sounds like to me. I know what it sounds like to me, Eugene. But anyway.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But guys, don't forget, right? And as always,
yes.
leave you out.
Leave you out.